Outer Orange.
Today we are going to be going over some community deck lists. Well, but let's go through them. This is Shadowverse Set 5. I'm a little into this one. I'll hopefully do the Set 6 one a little bit sooner. Basically, these are the lists that Set 5 people are basically brewing. And we got community deck lists as well. I realized I've actually forgot to share my deck log on here, but I actually do have the 2 deck logs that I'll be showcasing. 2 decks that I've been mainly focusing on, so I'll kind of just talk about them as we get there. But anyway, let's go ahead. I want to talk about the other people first. We got Gnarly Kitty here. He qualified for Shadowverse Regional back in Set 2. The goal of the deck was to farm play points to get deep into Overflow tank and heal out the opponent to finish with Forte and Gabriel Wombo combo, keeping big board to protect her until that point. Let's see. I think this is a little bit of an older list. I didn't play during Set 2. Actually, I didn't play during Set 2 at all, so this is definitely a little bit of a throwback. We're starting with the throwback, guys. I wanted to make a video about Set 5. We're going throwback. So I see we got the Blazing Breath. We have look at top guys, reveal a dragon craft card, and this dragon from among them adds to your hand, put remaining cards in your deck. So basically it's a searcher. I didn't even know Dragon Craft had a searcher. We got the Bell Ringer, which is obviously a staple. We got the Ace Dragon. Select no part of the field, get this follower X. Select a follower attack. Okay, so you get some power. Got Intimidate. Intimidate is such a broken mechanic. I just let them know. But on strike, you get to draw a card, discard a card. Very nice. We got the Mage, very popular card. Got the Dragon Oracle, another popular choice. Increase your maximum hit points by 1. A Sail. Oh, this is another oh, it's on death. On death, it just increases. This is interesting. So she's a 3/2. She can swing into something, and then she just straight up increases herself really fast. I guess as long as she doesn't get like bound or something, she's good. The path to just draw a ton of cards, always a good card. We got the Forte, obviously a staple. We got the Dragon Guard. He has a ward. If Overflow is active, he gets a 2/2, so he's a 6. He's a 6/7. That's really cool. So I'm gonna do these because I actually I'm not too familiar with Dragon Craft, so it's actually kind of interesting. We got the Sea Brand Dragon, another card. If Overflow is active, you get this power storm. And he's he's a 4/4. Followers and Star, that's just explain what they do. We got Shenlong. This was back when Shenlong wasn't restricted. I see. We got Gabriel just for more of that addition to the you know, making units powerful. That's what I found. The field deal at 7 damage. Wow, interesting. 7/7/7 that deals 7 damage. A lot of 7s. We got Lucifer. We know what Lucifer does. With the Fafnir, you have 5 damage to each follower in the field. Enemy follower field. That's kind of cool. He just deals 5 damage to everything. Jez's Dragon, broken ass card. And then we got the evolve here. So pretty interesting. It's very different from what you normally expect a dragon list to look like. So it is kind of more unique. So I like that. I don't know if Set 2 looked like this in the past, and if it did, if it did, I didn't know about it. But here's another person who sets a bunch of deck piles. Woo! Deck pile, pick any. Oh my goodness, we got a lot in here. We got some sword. This might be all Set 5 stuff, so this would be really interesting to look for. So we got everything is not in the hand. So this is the Abyss. We're starting with Abyss. This is discard control. So we have the Nice Nature for just, you know, discarding more discard. We got a little bit of that discard addition to kind of get some value. But I wonder what this is for. I guess to just get the ghosts out. Okay, a little bit of a ghost engine here, I see. We got the Seeking Pearl. She's interesting. Put the top 2 cards of your deck in a cemetery. You can erase her. There's a lot of these like random 2 or 3 drops that kind of do these in Uman Musne. Got a little bit more of that mill engine. Oh, this is like a little bit of a mill package too. So you got the Necrocharge mill package with the Omen. And we do have Madorensky. Madorensky is just amazing. I love Madorensky. Surefire, obviously, because it's just a really good card. We got a little bit of this other parts of the Omens pieces where you can basically, if your opponent has a certain amount of cards, you can do stuff. And then you can also force more discards. We got the Cerberus as well, just to kind of, I guess, help push for killing the board. We got the 3 Dark Alice's, which I think is absolutely wild. The Alice is such an interesting card. She's so good and so bad at the same time. I think the most broken card in here is definitely the Executioner. This card just says, look at your opponent's hand, discard something. Very, very busted. But basically, this is a Necrocharge. This is a Necrocharge control list, so it has kind of a little bit both. I think the only thing this deck is lacking is a little bit of that revival. So you can kind of go through your deck pretty fast, but you don't really have a way to get those cards from your drop back to hand if you were to play that. So I think Death's Breath would have been a nice addition, maybe over this slot. But I also understand why they're running this, because they're running this because they got the Soulcon. You can Soulcon her away, draw a ton of cards while also discarding your opponent's cards, so you kind of get a lot of value out of it. You discard something from theirs while also drawing a ton, and she'll just keep attacking if you don't clear her. And the only way to really deal with her is to just remove her from the game. So this is Rune. I will say my Rune information isn't very good. This looks like Dimension Shift. So is this Dimension Shift? Oh. It might be Dimension Shift. I'm not too sure, but we have Europa. I will say I'm very lacking, and I mean I'm very lacking on runecraft knowledge. I know what the cards do, I just don't know them in sequence very well. But so I'm just gonna have this here for y'all to kind of look through. I can't sit here and tell you guys I know everything about it because I definitely don't. My knowledge is definitely less, but I do see the Craving Splendor. So yeah, this looks like a pure spell build. This looks like a very aggro spell build, just focusing on spells and Europa to kind of just go for like late game into the dimension shift, which is also good. I'm just surprised they're not running the golems. I guess they're not, like, I guess they'd be kind of pushing your hand or something like that. I'm not, like I said, I'm not too sure. Also, I just noticed that the Uma card isn't in here. I can't remember her name, but she's basically a 2-drop that's like kind of similar to Merlin. Just another package for Merlin, and I'm surprised that's not in here. But could be just reasonings of just not owning it or something like that. It's a very expensive card, so it makes sense. But here's the evolve list of evolve card if you guys want to take a look at that. For all you runecraft people out there, this is for you. definitely for you, because I'm clueless. Got another list here. This is commanders. This is the commander approach of swordcraft. It's very interesting. I've always wondered how commander is doing in terms of the swordcraft end. I just recently discovered this card existed. I did not know this card existed until recently. It was like about a week or two ago. I was like, no one plays this. no one plays Albert, and this is like his evolve. Basically, he plays like, if you ever remember Vanguard, he kind of plays like baby overboard. He resets himself. You can, for the rest of the turn, this follower doesn't take any combat damage, so you can swing into something, and then he restands himself. But you can only perform the ability once. So I think it's still really cool because you swing into something, restand, and then swing again. So that's very, very baby overboard-esque for those Vanguard fans out there. Ultahime, see? Ultahime is wild. I forgot about this card. I actually played this card back in, I believe this was set 1, right? Yeah. This is set 1 stuff. This is when I played Sword. But it's just really cool to see. I believe you just basically swarm board as fast as possible and just kind of go for game. And what's really interesting is that they kind of search themselves out, so you have access to kind of go through your deck. Alexander's also really interesting. Whenever this follower deals combat damage, refresh it. That's so cool. So whenever he smacks into something, he just resets himself. He's a 9. That is crazy. What are these cards? I haven't even seen some of these cards. That's how crazy this is. You can use a ward, and on death he summons and gives them ward. You may engage any number of them. That's cool. So the ward that summons dudes along with that. I wonder how this deck performs. I actually want to see this deck in action. It seems really cool. We also do have the Celestial. This is Mars. Mars is a very, very good card. It basically evolves for free. Whenever an officer of the field enters your field, you give it +1. So, and then her evolve right here says, on evolve, search your deck for any for officer follower counts to X amount of play points or less and put them on your field. X equals number of your choice. And whenever an officer follower is put on your field, give it 1. So she basically is just a really aggressive searcher. She gets all your combo pieces going, and she's very nuts, all with the maid leader. And then obviously we have Leonidas to just kind of finish things off. Leonidas is still just a correct card. That's nice. Here's that. Let's see. We got quite a few more to go through here. We got Fabled. So this is a Fable list. I do know this very well. So this is basically you run the Fables with the Lick and the Beauty of the Beast, and you basically just want to stack your Fables on her and anything else you can find, and you just kind of either draw or heal or bounce cards as much as you can based off the conditions. And you still play the kind of the forest package of the ones here, with the exception of this because it's a Fabled card, and you're basically still bouncing and drawing, and you're playing the Sakuna to kind of get all the power buffs that you want, but you just have additional cards like Freya that can also stack up your Beauty of the Beast conditions, and then also your Lilik, which also says put a Fable counter on, remove a Fable counter, select an enemy follower to destroy it. So you can just keep doing this over and over again. She will just keep killing cards, and then as you keep killing cards, you just go into your own stuff. Also, the Suzuka is really good in here, as she can put the cards on top of the deck. Kind of have like a little bit of control-esque. This deck has a little bit of a weaker part where it struggles a little bit on finishing games, but the Beauty and the Beast package, which basically just makes her huge, can get very annoying as she has Rush and Aura, so you can't kill her off as quickly, but she'll just get huge as you keep giving her Fable counters. And yeah, just basically that. We have a little Spiana Searcher. Spenaria. I keep calling her Spiana, but Spenaria. She's gotten. I really underestimate this card. I thought this card's kind of weak. I realized I read it wrong. She grabs any follower and any spell that is from the top 5. I thought it was a 1-drop specific, but no, it's just any follower, any spell. This card is pretty disgusting, by the way. And then you can also grab Elephant, by the way. You kind of go for game with Elephant. So that's basically the Fable package. I think it's actually pretty good. It's just it has a little bit of an issue of closing out, but it's pretty good. Do we have Puppet? So this is the puppet version. This runs the puppet package. This deck's actually really scary. I actually truly believe this deck has potential. It rushes you down like crazy, and there's only so much you can do. You basically play this dude, and he gets a bunch of puppets and storms on them, and then they just get like insane. And there's like wards, and there's just so much going on with this deck. It's kind of wild. Hard to explain on paper. This card's nuts because every time she dies, she also gets you stuff. She selects a puppet follower in your cemetery, including this one, and adds it to your hands, and then you can reset the loop with her. You can basically let her die. If you miss the card, you can get cards back. It just goes actually pretty wild. This deck is very scary. We have another sword deck, but this looks like cannon token. Oh, this runs the token. So this goes right again towards the Magna Legacy version. I will admit I am not too familiar with this, but I'll leave this here for you guys to kind of look at and just enjoy. It looks really cool. Whatever. I actually remember reading the canon going, this is the funniest thing ever. You basically just deal a ton of damage, and as you banish cards, it's just really cool, like little mechanic you can do. I'll need someone in the comments if anyone knows exactly what the function of this is. Please let me know, because I think it would be really cool to see what this deck does in action. I love seeing all these unique decks. It's very nice to see versus like the usual stuff that people normally play. So I'm really enjoying this. We got Dragoncraft list here. This looks like bullet. Ah, it's a different list. It's a bullet list. Which one's the bullet? Is it this? Is this the bullet? This is the bullet. This follower can't attack enemy followers. Rest this, put another follower from your field into its own cemetery. Select an enemy follower, enemy leader, or enemy follower in the field and deal X damage equal to attack on the follower you put into cemetery. Interesting. So you can basically buff something up and then deal your leader, your opponent's leader, like you can burn your leader down, and you can also, as you're doing that, heal yourself up, and then you also have Forte Shedlong to kind of stall out. And then I'm assuming you're going to target this. Put another follower on your field into its own cemetery, reveal the top card of your deck. Repeat until you reveal a follower that costs more than the follower you put into the cemetery. Put it onto your field, shuffle the remaining cards, and put them on the bottom of your deck. What? That is such a crazy looking card. What is with these dragon cards, dude? I've seen this card before, so people have talked about Berserker. Whenever this follower takes damage, you can give it +2/+2, which is really cool. So it's a 6/7, you give it damage. Ping it once and go 5/7, then go back to a 7/8. So it's really interesting what you can do with that. And then increase your maximum people to 1. Give your leader +3 and draw card. It's a spell. That's such an interesting spell. It's a cool. It's baby Marwyn. It's what Marwyn does. It's what Marwyn does, but it's not a card on the board. That is so interesting. If you guys don't know Marwyn's in Havencraft, and he says you skip your turn or you evolve for a full 8 and you draw a card, you maximize your play points, and you get +3. That's so interesting. I didn't know Dragon had a baby Marwyn. I didn't know people play this card. This is Dragon Tamer. I keep opening the pretty version of this card. You get to unevolve this card, click follower in your cemetery, add to your hands. That's cool. You get to discard, kind of just go through your deck a little bit more. And then I see a Bahamut here. Did I see a Bahamut here? I don't think I did. we're running a Bahamut evolve without a Bahamut in the main deck. I'm assuming one of these cards was supposed to be Bahamut. It's okay. But yeah, overall really cool. Let's see. We got more. We got this list. A lot of cool decks here. This is the same list I just did. My bad. A lot of cool options. I'm seeing a lot of cool decks. Ooh, it's a Haven deck. This is a Prey Haven deck. So I'm assuming this revolves around the amulet, but yeah, it does. It revolves around the Ancient Protector. So this Ancient Protector was just a 1-of, but you can search it out. All the amulets can be searched out. But basically, this card says neither opponent can win or lose, and then when your defense goes to 0, you get rid of this card and change it to 1. Very interesting card. And then after that, it's just all amulets, and then whatever this is. Reveal the top card of your deck, deal X amount of damage to you. Goes by cards. You can give this. Another Aegis. But you need to, kill 10 and kill a whole turn for it. But hey, she becomes a freaking 18/18. A gold ship. But yeah, basically this deck revolves around you healing a ton with a frog and just basically warding up and becoming a big wall that your opponent can't deal with, along with this card. This card's absolutely nuts. At the start of your opponent's main phase, give your leader +1, so she just keeps, attacking. It just keeps baby healing you, and then you have all the protection here along with drawing into the cards and healing, and they have more drawing and more healing. Basically a very focused amulet deck. This gets your other amulets. You can search your deck for an amulet, add to hand. This lets you again heal some more. It's literally heal 5, draw. The Star Priestess also works with the amulets, and then you can use her to search out anything else in your deck. Usually you'll be searching out the Aegis, and then you got the Marwyn that I was just talking about for the Dragon deck. That basically becomes a huge body on the board. And there's 3 evos, but Spectral, what you want over there? What you cooking? Also, I should mention Unica. Unica is really cool. I really like her. On strike, she heals you for 2. So by the way, she doesn't have to be evolved to do that. Like you can just play her and then next turn like do the strike. But also her evolve form does it as well. But what's nice about her is that she has the ability on both. There's another card it's called Lilith in Abyss that has the same effect, but her regular version does not do that. Her regular version stays as just a 2/2. But only her evolve on strike heals. But this one has it on both basically. So that's pretty cool. I wasn't running the Kaguya. Okay, I guess just for more of that manipulation. But a very interesting deck, very different from what I'm used to. But this is definitely like a bit of a toolbox deck, and you kind of just play into whatever toolbox you want to use. That's really cool. So that's all of Spectral's decks. Thank you so much, Spectral Designs. Check him out on Twitter. He talks a lot about Shadowverse. He really likes Shadowverse. Also, I should mention Gnarly Kitty also has been recently kind of more into Shadowverse. That's why he showed us that 2 list, because he's been mainly he kind of been coming back into the game. He has been playing more recent stuff, so he showed what he last played basically. Here is Marty Sai with a discard Abyss list. We gotta respect the discard Abyss list here. In these parts, because this card is great. So I love this card. This card's so funny. This card against freaking whatchamacallit egg is so, they can't explode with this card active. This basically says anytime your opponent discards a card, you mill 2 and you deal your opponent's leader 2 damage. That's pretty cool. Other than that, we kind of went over a little bit of discard earlier, but notice this one has Lyrial. Lyrial basically says you can burn damage, just a really nuts card in general. And then we have again, the Executioner to spells here. This is nothing too new. We got the Omen, we got the Path of Purgatory. The Path of Purgatory and the Lyrial work really well together, because Path forces you to take damage, and she says no. You don't. Also, Executioner has the same thing, where Executioner forces you to take damage, and she says no. So you can kind of play around that a lot of times. So that's really nice. We are running the Nice Nature here, and then we got the Apostle Silence. We got the Azazel. I really like Azazel. And we got the Alice as well. So overall, pretty standard package from what I'm seeing. We got the Snipes and the Bell Ringers. This is probably the one thing that people may or may not know about as much. This card's really nuts, but it is a very like timely nuts. It's one of those cards where if you drop her at the right time, she's insane. But otherwise, she's just kind of a card in your hand, and you just kind of sometimes just discard her off of Alice just because you don't need her. But yeah, very interesting card. And then here's Evolve, looks like, which is pretty standard. You got the Azazel, the double Omens, the double Silence, and you have the Execution and the Bell Ringer just for protection. So just a very standard standard Evolve section with that. We got T-Mac here with a funny this is from my homie Leon, a neutral dragon control a meme, but the thought process was that if we took the 3 best dragon cards and chucked them into a deck. Okay, so I'm assuming the 3 best dragon cards is probably the Bahamut, the Forte, and the what's another good dragon card? Probably the Oracle. Yeah, I'm assuming it's the Oracle. But yeah, we got the Blazing Breath here, and then yeah, this really is just neutral spam. You just play a neutral deck with dragon cards and just kind of go crazy, which is valid because you are running the Gilneas. Gilneas is very solid. So very good approach towards that. So basically, it's just dragon with Gilneas in it, and with a touch of little other stuff. I like it. I'm a big fan of the Gilneas package, even though she's a little slow. It is very aggressive. You're usually not doing much with Dragon Empire with a Dragoncraft early anyway, and then she can just kind of go wild. Now keep in mind, for her second effect, both opponents have to get 10 max play points, but everything else is pretty Gucci. You can still play her. You just can't get her draw until both opponents are on 10. So, but the still it's really cool because you can drop Bahamut, still you do your thing, and then the Gilneas will kind of close things out for you. So it's a meme, but it's a cool meme. Here's Illusion with his sword build here. So we have a little sword build here. So this is heroic entry with the it's heroic entry with the mill package, so we have a little bit of both. We have the early aggro going into the late game of the heroic entry. Very popular concept that people really like to kind of push both engines. I think it works pretty well because you have the floral fencer, you have the usurpation, and then you also have the early aggro between your 1-drops and just a lot of your 1-drops. It's just a really good package, so I really like it. The only downside is you can't run the spell that gets you a bunch of cards to hand, so you have to be a little carry. But you don't really be careful, but you don't really want a lot of cards in hand because you want to just go into the heroic entry package at some point. Oh, really good. I saw some lists running Jerry as well, just to kind of throw in since you're gonna be losing your hand anyway. So Jerry's also another thing, but I don't have too much to say. They also have the Storm card here. This is like a more staple list, but I really like it. I actually haven't seen this list in action yet. No one has, like, I haven't faced anyone playing the duel of both. We have Yuki here as well, big dragon fan. So he says this current dragon list made to handle Haven as best as possible, as well as most everything else through Control Abyss has been rough. So he says Control Abyss is for him, which makes sense. Control Abyss, it can be a little spooky. if they discard your Fortes and your Shenlongs and all your good stuff. But this is basically the list he's running. Running Israfil is a very standard package. This is basically Ramp Dragon. Also running the Baby Omen card. That's really funny. I love seeing Marwyn in other decks. But yeah, winning the Lyriel to kind of deal with the burn. We got the Oracle, the Mage, the Dragon's Nest, the Blazing Breath. We got the Sybil. We got Sybil here, Serpent's Wrath, the Path to kind of draw a little bit further. We got the Conflag, good old Conflag, Israfil, and then the Bahamut with the Genesis Dragon at 3. Genesis at 3 is hilarious to me. It makes sense, but that's just a very casual 10, 12. Overall, pretty good list. I think that's it for the main folks that sent me a couple lists here, and then I also have my own list that I was testing. I'm not testing anymore, so I'm kind of done. The first one that I really, the first list I really have been heavily testing was Sanguine. Sanguine was probably my favorite favorite deck actually in the set right now. I actually kind of regret not playing it more competitively. I kind of wish I did. Versus I've been on Aegis and I kind of regret playing Aegis now that I'm done with my buy card challenges. But this is basically Sanguine. You just go super aggressive with all your 1-drops here. Drawing into these is like nutso. You want to activate Sanguine pretty fast, and then you just aggro your opponent down with like drawing and dealing them damage while giving yourself Sanguine. You run the Dire Bond to basically cards and deal again activate Sanguine. Since it's an amulet early on, you can get Sanguine active during specific times without having to worry about your board getting blown up, because sometimes your board will get blown up and you won't have a ability to activate Sanguine. This will just activate for you. This is just a draw discard. Also on strike, she deals damage to both on evolve, so she kind of helps you kind of get through all that aggression. Get through to that Sanguine abilities while also going through your deck faster. You'll notice I'm running 2 Dominion. A lot of people run 3. I ain't gonna lie, this card's a brick in this deck. Yes, it activates Sanguine, but that's all it does. Uses like usually you're in top deck mode almost all the time. Top decking this is like basically you're gonna lose if you top deck this. I'd actually stop like completely cutting this card because that's how unimportant this card is in this deck. Like it just does absolutely nothing for it. The only like it does good things like yes you deal yourself damage and yes you have some protection, but usually you want to close out as fast as possible. Then we have obviously the Omen of Lust. She's just insane. If Sanguine is active, she has Storm and she deals. I want on strike she deals the damage to each leader based on each enemy leader based on how many times you've dealt yourself damage. And then also, if your damage is exactly 7, she also gets 2 2s. She is huge. If you time this perfectly, she is insane. I will say you don't really care about the timing so much as you care about the fact that she has Storm and the fact that she's dealing damage, burn damage on strike. That's the biggest thing. Even if it's like 1 or 2 points of damage, it's better than nothing. We got the Razor Claw. Razor Claw is just insane. He just basically says deal 2 to yourself, deal 3 to something, to your leader or something on the board. Usually it'll be the leader. But you can close out with this card really fast. Your opponent's exactly 3. Drop this card, they die. The Playful Necromancer. This card's so good, it's so bad at the same time. It's one of those cards where if you draw into it the worst time, she sucks because she has no abilities of Sanguine on her. She does nothing for Sanguine, but alone, she basically just says, hi, I'm going to deal 3 damage. And that's what the most important part. On Evolve, she summons 3 ghosts. Ghosts have Storm. You go swing, swing, swing. And then you will just leave her stood. You can leave her stood, and then you can just use her again next turn. If they don't answer her, you usually win the game. Because what happens is whatever card you'll be dropping after her will either be a Storm card or something that's going to burn them down. Embracing Wings, also just a really good card. You basically just kill something on the board, and then you deal 2 damage to your leader, and then you get the Omen of Lust back to your hand. If you're on like a 5-6 mana play, you can basically kind of close out on this as well. You kill something, revive her back, play her, and then she'll be really big, and then you swing. And then also we got the Necro Carnival. I actually really didn't like this card at first, and then the more I started playing and testing it, I was like, this card's actually really good. You'll never get both. Pick a 2-drop and play it on the field, so the Omen of Lust, or any of the 1-drops, by the way, that you have, or you summon 2 ghost tokens, so you just deal 2 damage directly. Either way, it's pretty good. Usually want to play cards as much as possible, so sometimes you'll just play for the 2 damage and say, I don't care. Next, we have the Apostle of Lust. It's not kind of an iffy about, but the more I play it, the more I like it. Basically, you deal yourself damage, rest it, and then you take a 2-drop from your cemetery, put on the board, very similar to Necro Carnival. Nice. But then after that, anytime Demon Follower enters your field, you actually heal. But the biggest thing is the fact that it's reviving something while also dealing damage while also healing. It's kind of doing a lot, and it's rested, which kind of sucks, but then your opponent has the idea of swinging 1 and kill it, and if they try to kill it, then they're not touching your other stuff, which is good, so it's kind of like a mind game almost. That's also really good with that, and then that's basically it for the Apostle Lust. That way, the Dark General, I think this card's insane. I see some lists not run this card, and I'm like, I don't know how you're existing without wanting to play this card, because this card just basically closes out so many games. If your opponent is like already on the back burner and you have like this on the board, you can literally just on your 4-mana play just drop this, swing with her first. You already get the Sanguine to go active, and then you just go for game. Like there are some times where you just straight up will close out this card. Like I kid you not, this card's disgusting. Last place we got Jerry, probably my favorite card in this deck by far. Jerry is just absolutely nuts. You go through your hand so much that Jerry will almost always be live. It's really rare when the only time the Jerry won't be live is when you're holding too many high drops in your hand and you can't play them early on. But ideally, you'll usually have a 1-2 card hand, and then Jerry just goes off. The end phase, you deal your opponent 3 damage every single turn, but then on evolve you deal 5. But then also if you have 0 cards in hand, you also deal 3 damage to the board and 5 damage to face on evolve. And then on top of that, his evolve refreshes himself, so you can swing into something and then you can refresh yourself. Like, so you can swing into something, reset himself, and then keep him stood, and then still deal this at end phase abilities. So that's pretty nuts. So you can kill something on the board and then also go wild. Ideally, you want to keep him stood because you want him to keep burning. But usually this card will close out. You'll sometimes be intervals where you get your point just at that right interval where you just need like 5 damage to ping down. So you can like play something that will burn, and then you just drop this and win the game. Like, it's just one of those cards. And then this is the evolve. Evolve is kind of just standard stuff. So sorry, I wanted a whole thing about Sanguine. I really like Sanguine. It's not obvious. I feel like it's a very underappreciated deck. I underappreciated it myself, so I think it's a really good deck. But anyway, I also have my Haven list here that I was testing. I changed this list so many times. It's not even funny. I actually took this to my shop challenge and I did very, very bad. I will be just very honest with you. I did not perform very well, which is kind of sad because the week before, when I was testing the deck, I did very well. And then when I took it again, I did very bad. I made last minute changes, which was probably the biggest mistake of my life. I don't know why I did that, but I actually kind of, I know it sounds weird, but I actually think Aegis should be at 2. Every single game that I played during shop challenge, I drew all 3 of these, and all 3 of them either got discarded or they were just too heavy, like in my hand, or they just weren't doing much, or would just die to Fortes and stuff like that. So I never had the chance to really recover. I will say everything else about the deck was really spot on. I should, like, if I put this back at 2, I probably would put the Kurt back at 3, and I think the list, that's basically the list I was running for a while. But long story short, the Marwyn just kind of goes nuts in this deck. The spells just go absolutely crazy in this deck. The drawing, the removal, I really like Deus Ex Machina. A lot of people don't really play her. I think she's really nuts because she basically makes Acolyte free while also getting a body on the board. Basically, you throw her down, and then you recover 4, and then just go, okay, cool. Now I can play my Acolyte. I can play 2 Surefires. I can play some Snipes. You know, you have a lot of options. It basically gives you access to your spells. You can play Execution under it. If you know Leonidas is coming, they can arrest the Machina, try and swing into it, and then you're like, okay, cool, Acolyte it, and now they can't do that anymore. You have kind of like a lot of plays under this card. I really like it. I also just like having some kind of bodies in the board. This deck doesn't really have a lot of bodies in the board, so it's really good to have that. And then we have the Lyrio and the Path of Purgatory combo. This is basically Gilneas, but just a small version of her. Gilneas lets you draw a lot late game, but the thing is, it's like a 7-8 mana play. I want to have something a little bit sooner so I can kind of go crazy, so I value this package. It does force you to have to deal yourself damage, but you can also, if you have the Lyrio, you're fine. Surefire is just absolutely insane in step 5 right now. I think it's like a mandatory 3 of in almost every deck, unless you literally can't. This card's just too good. It's just really, really, especially now with all these evolves and everything that I've been talking and all that stuff. There's too many good evolve cards, and this card just basically plays into all of them really well. So just really quick to have. Marwyn's obviously insane. The Ether has been pretty decent. I've been testing it, and I like it, and I don't like it. Sometimes it's really good because it can make certain plays, and sometimes it just feels really bad because you never want to play it. Into certain dragon decks, you don't want to drop it because if they have Lightning Blast, they'll Lightning Blast her and then kill your entire board, which means you'll lose both your Aegis and your Marwyns. So just something to keep in mind. You don't want to drop her. It's a dragon. You always want to just keep aura cards on the board at all times. So there's something to just know. Early on, it's fine, but the minute you start dropping this dude and this dude, don't drop any more non-aura cards. Don't drop Jean's. So just don't do it because you'll just your board will get Lightning Blast. So just be careful because Lightning Blast can target those cards. They just can't target these. But the minute they find a target, these cards go with it. So just keep in mind. And then just Jean. Normal Jean stuff, but this is a pretty standard Aegis build in my opinion. Hope you guys enjoy that. I really like these. Hopefully we can get some more for set 6 going. Set 6 will be a little bit more competitive. Set 5 is definitely a little bit more like a chiller set for folks because people are getting in preparation for set 6. You know, people are getting ready for California. That's set 6 format, obviously. So thank you everyone for submitting your lists. We had Yuki, Illusion, T-Mac, Mordecai. We had Spectral Designs give us a ton, and we had Gnarly Kitty along with myself. So for next time, if you guys also want to submit your list and also be a part of this video, please feel free to submit them. I'll be making more of these tweets, and maybe next time I'll just do it on YouTube as well, just to kind of get more flow on both sides. So yeah, other than that, guys, peace out. 50cards.shop, OuterOrange if you need any goodies. Please feel free to like, subscribe, comment. It does help to push the channel. I am trying to get to 5K. Hopefully I can get to it by the end of the year. Guys, peace out. Bye.